Hey, Emergence community. This is Dan Lazor from Glen Rock campus, and I am here to share devotional thought with you for the day. And I thought that what better place to rest than on the theme verse for our school year, which is from Micah 6:8. And what does the Lord require of you? And I want to think about that from a particular perspective. I've had some opportunity to dive into that verse a little bit and to see it in a whole different way for me personally, and want to share some of that with you. But before I do, I want to jump back to Deuteronomy 10, and in verse 12, as Moses is recording, he writes, "Now, Israel, what does the Lord your God require of you but to fear the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, to love him, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to observe the Lord's commands and decrees that I have given you today for your own good." There's this idea of something that needs to be done, an obligation, a response that has to happen because of what's been shared. The law has been given, and this is what the Lord requires of you. So now that you know what is good and what has to happen, now you have to go and do it. When we get to Micah in chapter 6, there's a little bit of a difference there in the word require. And I've been meditating on that for a little bit. And it's helped me to understand a little bit about what Micah is communicating from God to us, about what does the Lord require of us. Just before verse 8 in Micah chapter 6, he's looking and he asks, what should I come before the Lord with? Should I bow down before the exalted God? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams or with 10,000 rivers of oil? Should I offer my firstborn son? The question is there, do I continue with the requirements that have been given to me from God? And the answer is fascinating to me. That he's shown you, O man, or O mortal, or human, whatever version you're looking at, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you. This word require, there is the sense of inquiring or requiring, but there's also the sense of seeking. What is the Lord seeking from you? What is it that the Lord is looking for? And he goes to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly. And if you dive into those phrases, those three phrases, even the act justly, the word there for act is the same exact word that is used in Genesis 1 when it talks about God creating. And so it's not just my behavior, but it goes even deeper. It goes to say that I, as a follower of Christ, I should be like God. I should be walking, and everywhere I go, I should be creating patterns of justice and judgment that are right and righteous. So my trail, my pattern, my history should show a pattern of righteousness for all who observe my life and my behavior. To love mercy, love is this attitude, and it's like the human love for an object, and this mercy and loving kindness is part of God's character. You look at in Psalms 86, verse 15, it talks about God is full of loving kindness, right? And so it's saying that God is looking for people who have a heart like his, who desire and look for ways to be kind and to spread that loving kindness that models it. And to walk humbly, of course, to recognize our position before God and before man, our dependence on God and our need for him, our need for a Savior. What is it that the Lord requires of us or is seeking from us? But it's to be like Jesus. It is to follow in the footsteps of our Savior and to live a life that resembles his life. This is the message of the gospel. It's a transformation that happens first in our hearts, and then as we allow the Spirit to sanctify us and to move us closer and closer into that image, that the image that was fallen and yet is being redeemed and being transformed and conformed to the image of our Savior Jesus, like it says in Colossians 3. We are being transformed into his image. And as we go through that transformation process, what do we see? We see people who love mercy, people who act justly, people who love mercy, people who walk humbly. And this is what the Lord requires, not so much in terms of a legalistic, got to check the boxes, but in a way of saying, this is what I'm looking for in the people who follow me, the people who call themselves by my name. I'm looking for the people to look like Jesus. The amazing thing is, God does that in our hearts. He starts that process. And as we submit to Him and His will and we're obedient to those things, He does the work of transforming us. Connecting it to community groups, that's easy. How does that happen? How does that transformation happen? One of the ways that God allows us to be transformed is through our connection to other people. So as we devote ourselves to living in community with other people, we have people who are there to help sharpen us and to help strengthen us and to help call us and hold us accountable to that kind of life and saying, here I am, I'm a follower of Christ, and I want to be conformed to His image, and I want to allow God to do the work in my heart that He has designed for me. The Bible is so rich and full of promises, and that He's going to continue that work until the day of Christ. And it's awesome to be able to look forward to that, but it's so necessary to be in community and to be able to do that with one another. And I'm thankful for my community of guys that are around me, and hopefully you're able to find that same kind of community for yourself, to be able to continue to pursue that which the Lord is requiring of you. God bless. Glad to be able to share some thoughts with you today, and look forward to seeing everybody soon.